Hello everyone, my name is Gayatri and we'll be doing our second chapter which is the thief story. So please keep your textbooks out and we'll be solving each and every question in text as well as the ones given after the chapter is over. So we'll be doing the explanation, the warming up and the chapter itself fully. So keep your pencils and your textbooks and if you want you can keep another notebook out and we'll start with it right now. So this is our chapter. And this is page number 7. So please open up. This is the warming up. Lokesh had always been a class topper in tests and examinations. However, invariably, he used foul means during exams to gain those high marks. One day, once, on the day of history examination, this is page number 7, and I hope you have your textbooks out by now. And if you seem to have any problem understanding, please stop the video and you can write it down if you are given time. So we'll start. Lokesh had always been a class topper in tests and examinations. However, invariably he used foul means during exams to gain those high marks. Once, on the day of history examination, Lokesh realized that his classmate and friend Farhan came all prepared for math instead of history. Farhan had become so desperate, so Lokesh offered to let him copy from his answer sheet, since Farhan sat just behind him. Farhan refused. He said, "It's all right even if I get a zero, but I can call it my own zero. I do not want to score a single mark unearned. Cheating in exams is for cowards, not me." These words were a turning point in Lokesh's life. He gave up cheating forever. He worked hard for what he desired and never, ever used false measures to acquire anything. Now, in the given story, which words or phrases can be replaced by the following ones? Now, the first one is become aware, that is realized. Please write down when I'm actually giving the answers. The ones which are more personal response, I won't be answering them because that is for you to answer. And if you have any doubts, if you want to convey anything to us, you can share your doubts and any other thoughts on the email ID given in the description below. The second one is always, that is invariably. Very upset and helpless. Desperate. The word will be desperate. Please write down the correct spellings also because that also changed the way teachers look at it. Fourth one, cheating, which is false measures. Fifth, without working for it, unearned. Sixth, a sudden change, turning point. Seventh, gain or achieve, acquire. This is the B part is for you to do. And if you have any doubts, you can genuinely ask us. We will be happy to. The Thief's Story. Ruskin Bond, 1934, is an Indian author of British descent. He lives with his adopted family in Landore in Mussoorie, India. In the Indian Council for Child Education has recognized his role in the growth of children's literature in India. He got the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1992 for Our Trees Still Grow in Dehra for his published work in English. He was awarded the Padma Shri in 1999 and Padma Bhushan in 2014. He's a very renowned. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing. I hadn't had much luck of late and thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. Now, we'll be also referring to the glossary if the word comes up. Now, lean is thin. Okay, lean is not like very thin. It is fit but thin. Okay, so that is one. Now, this two paragraphs that we just read is simple. So the narrator was a thief and he was 15 years old, but he was quite good at it. That is uh, his views on his own successful job that he was doing, robbing. He was a thief and only 15. He was still experienced and fairly good at it. Now, he went and approached Anil when he was watching a wrestling match. He was older, he was 25 years old. He was tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing. Like he was a kind person, very simple, and probably would be easy to rob. So as the narrator didn't have much luck, any as the narrator didn't have much luck these days, he thought he might be able to get into Anil's confidence. You look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. Now, all these bold words that are given to you, like flattery, modesty, and etc., you can see the glossary itself. It's written flattery, insincere praise. It's more like buttering up the person, if you know what that means. Hindi में it is मक्खन लगाना, basically मस्का लगाना, चने के झाड़ पे चढ़ाना, probably. So you look a bit of a wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. He thought he was just lying. The narrator thought that Anil was lying because he was thin and didn't look like a wrestler from any angle that he thought. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. He wasn't boasting about it. He said it humbly. Well, I do wrestle a bit. Now, Anil asked, what's your name? Hari Singh. I lied. I took a new name every month. That kept me ahead of the police and my former employers. Now, the narrator gave a false name, Hari Singh. Why? Because that kept him ahead of the police and his former employers, whoever he robbed, and the police that were looking for him. The new name kind of kept him away from all that struggle. And he took a new name every month. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. I didn't have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well oiled wrestlers who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. Grunting is making low guttural sounds. You might have seen wrestlers. If not, if you have, you might have seen Dangal, the movie, and you know that they make a lot of noise because it takes a lot of strength to throw someone away. So the sounds that they are making is called grunting. So the well-oiled wrestlers, we know why they're well-oiled because they wrestle in soil in the areas that we were talking about in this story, who were grunting, lifting, and throwing each other about. The narrator didn't have much to say, so he casually followed Anil, who walked away. Hello again, he said. I gave him my most appealing smile. I want to work for you, he said. Now, Anil watched him, following him, so he said hello once again. Once again. I gave him the narrator gave him his most appealing smile. Appealing is attention getting, attractive smile. The way it doesn't seem too false, but it also doesn't seem true. He gave him the most appealing smile and he said that he wanted to work for Anil. But I can't pay you. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged my man. Anil directly said to him that he couldn't pay the narrator. And the narrator thought for a minute and he was like, maybe I did misjudge this person. He thought that this person would have money, but right now, as he said that he couldn't pay the narrator, he probably thought he was not that rich. I asked, can you feed me? Can you cook? I can cook. I lied again. If you cook, then maybe I can feed you. Now, this is a direct dialogue. Now, dialogues are between two people. Monologues are one people doing the two people ka acting. So please don't get confused over there. Now, the narrator asked, can you feed me? The narrator asked Anil, could he feed him? Anil asked the narrator, can you cook? The narrator lied that he can. So Anil said, if he can cook, then maybe he could feed him. Now, the way that I'm telling you all these dialogues is indirect. Okay. The dialogues given to you are in a direct manner. He took me to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around, smiling in my most appealing way, and he couldn't help laughing. Anil took the narrator to his room over the Jamna sweet shop and told the narrator that he could sleep on the balcony. And because the narrator lied that he can cook, so the night that he made the meal, it must have been terrible because Anil gave it to the street dog and told the narrator to go away. But the narrator stayed around, smiling, and Anil couldn't help but laugh. Later, he patted me on the head and said, never mind, he'd teach me to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he would teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. Now, when I'm actually narrating you the whole story, please keep your finger on the line because you might get lost where we are. So just make sure that you are reading everything but also understanding at the same time. Now, I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. Anil patted on his head, patted on the narrator's head, and said, never mind, that Anil would teach him to cook. He also taught him to write his name, and he said that he would teach him to write whole sentences and to add numbers. Now, this was quite exciting for the narrator, as he was not educated at all. He didn't know how to read and write. So he was grateful for what Anil was doing with him. He knew, the narrator knew, that once he could write like an educated person, there would be no limit to what he could achieve. Now, we'll go to the next paragraph. We are here. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made the tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about a rupee a day. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. Now, the narrator was shockingly very pleasantly working for Anil. He actually didn't think of working for him for a long time, but he was enjoying it. So he used to make the tea in, he used to make tea in the morning every day and would take time to go off to the shops to buy the day supplies, which is normally everything that he wanted for a day. And usually used to make a profit of about 1 rupee a day. So that means that the other chiller or the change that he used to get back, he used to take 1 rupee every single day. And the narrator thought that And the narrator thought Anil knew about it but still didn't mind. Anil made money by fits and starts. Now, fits and starts, glossary, please read it. In short, regular, in short, irregular intervals. Now, Anil made money by fits and starts, very irregularly. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for magazines, a queer way to make a living. Now, he would borrow 1 week, lend the next, because obviously he didn't get a lot of money and never had a regular source of money coming to him. So as soon as he used to want something, he used to borrow from someone, lend it the next week when he got the money back. And he kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for magazines. Now, he was getting irregular payments, but it seemed like he was writing for magazines. And for the narrator, it seemed like a clear way to make a living, something he wasn't very sure about. One evening, he came home with a bundle of notes, with a small bundle of notes, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night, I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. Okay. So one evening, he comes home with a small bundle of notes. And please do take or emphasize on the word small, saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. And at the same night, the narrator saw him tuck the money under the mattress, like any normal person would do who was earning that way. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, had not done anything in the line of his work. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. He was the most trusting person I had ever met. Now, the narrator was working for Anil for almost a month now. And apart from taking the little rupees, the little money that he was getting from cheating of the shopping, he hadn't done any robbing as such. And he had every opportunity to do so because Anil gave him the key to the door and he could come and go in the house, out of the house whenever he pleased. But he did. And Anil was the most trusting person that the narrator had ever met. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he doesn't even notice he's been robbed of, and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. Well, it's time he did some real work, he told himself. He was out of practice, and if he doesn't take the money, he'll only waste it on his friends. After all, he doesn't even pay me. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor, considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. Now, unlined is one word in the glossary. Check it out. Showing no sign of worry or anxiety. He had his night's peaceful sleep because he wasn't doing anything wrong. And although the although Anil's face was clear and lined, the narrator had more marks on his face, though the marks on his face were mostly scars, probably the beatings that he got for robbing someone. So there were scars on his face. My hand slid under the mattress, searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. Now, the narrator saw Anil keep the bundle of notes under the mattress. So, as we can see that he was trying to rob him at this point. So he slid his hand under the mattress, searching for the notes that Anil had kept in the morning. And when he found them, he drew them out. He took them out without a sound. Now, Anil was sleepy, so obviously he would turn his side, right? So Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side towards the narrator. The narrator was startled. The narrator was very nervous at that point and quickly went out of the room. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to a walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil rich Arab for a week or two. Now, this is very old. This story is very old. So, 600 rupees in 50s is a lot of money for that time. So, as you can see, what he's comparing it to, that he could live like an oil rich Arab for a week or two. Now, for a week or two, a 600 rupees note, like a 600 rupees bundle that was 50 rupees each, was so much that it was compared to an oil rich Arab. So when he took the money, he went out of the room, he ran, he went to the road and he started to run. He had the notes at his waist, held there by the string of his pajamas. When he slowed down, walked, counted the rupees, he compared it to an oil rich Arab for a week or two. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. He had never bought a ticket in his life, but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages. Now, he reached the station. He did not stop at the ticket office. Not that he had stopped at the ticket office any time in his life, but he went directly to the platform. The Lucknow Express was still moving out. It still had to pick up speed, so the narrator was probably able to jump into one of the carriages, but he hesitated. For some reason I can't explain, and I lost the chance to get away. Now, he didn't get onto one of the carriages because he hesitated. For some reason, he didn't know how to explain, but he lost the chance to go. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends would be more trouble than help. And I did not want to make any curious, and I did not want to make anyone curious by standing at the small hotels near the station, by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I really knew was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. In my short career as a thief, I had made a study of men's faces. When they had lost their goods, the greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness, not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. Now, this paragraph itself makes it seem like the thief, that the narrator knew what he was going through at this point. As his short career as a thief, because he was just 15 years old, he had studied men's faces when they lost something. The greedy man showed fear because obviously he was greedy. He had to have stuff there. The rich man showed anger. The poor man showed acceptance, but he knew that Anil's face would have a touch of sadness, not because for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on the bench. The night was chilly. It was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily. My shirt and pajamas stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. Now, when he thought of Anil's face, he was already in the Maidan. He found himself in the Maidan and he sat down on the bench. The night was chilly, it was cold, and it was early November, and a light drizzle added to his discomfort. Now, drizzle is rain, very light rain added to his discomfort. Soon, it was raining quite heavily. His shirt and pajamas stuck to his face. His shirt and pajamas stuck to his skin because it was raining quite a lot, and obviously he was wet from top to bottom. And a cold wind blew the rain across his face. I went to the bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for the notes. They were damp from the rain. When he was all done, when the rain was all going on, he went to the bazaar and sat down at the shelter of a clock tower. The clock showed midnight, and he tried to feel how his notes were because obviously it was raining and they were all wet because of the rain. Damp is wet. Anil's money. In the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I couldn't cook his meals, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than a few hundred rupees. It was a simple matter to steal, but sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big man, a clever and respected man, was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. Now, he thought of Anil's money and he thought that probably in the morning, Anil, when he would reach out for the money, he would have given the narrator 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema to enjoy himself also. But now he had all the money. And suddenly he remembered that he couldn't cook Anil's meals, run to the bazaar, or mainly learn to write whole sentences anymore. We all know that the narrator, or Hari, as he said his name would be, was very excited about learning whole sentences and how he would use the whole sentences to become a good man. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of the theft. Whole sentences he knew could one day bring him more than a few hundred rupees. It was simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught. But to be a really big, clever, and respected man was something else. So here we know that it's a 15-year-old thinking because every other teenager will, when we are reading or writing, when we are learning to write, we are learning stuff in school, we always think about what we'll become once we are all old enough to go for jobs, what we'll become. Here, Anil was basically robbing everyone, and he didn't think of learning to read and write, and he didn't think of how it would make him a big person, a respected person. And when Anil was trying to make Hari read and write, he did seem to think about it. Like he did seem to think about becoming a good person in the future.